All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, happy to be talking to an individual ahead of a big card, bare-knuckle FC7, Alers versus Garcia. It goes Saturday, August 10th in Biloxi, Mississippi. It is live and free on YouTube and Fight, and I'm talking to promotional figurehead Dave Feldman. How's your day going so far there, man?
It's doing pretty good, man. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering when you got into the game of promoting things. I understand your dad was a prolific boxer as well as a trainer, and then you and your brother both boxed. So when did you have the inkling to want to get into the promoting end of things?
Actually, started promoting a long time ago. About 1994, I had one of my professional fights that I fought, and I actually promoted the card with my brother on there. So I've been doing it on and off since then, and then really full time now for about 13, 14 years.
Yeah, I understand Bobby Gunn sold you a bit on bare knuckle boxing. Were you kind of hesitant or skeptical, maybe you didn't know what you were getting into, but Bobby Gunn kind of gave you the rundown?
No, you know what? It was actually Bobby Gunn that got me intrigued by it by telling me about what happened over there. He's a gypsy. He's a traveler, whatever the gypsy traveler. I don't know how you say that, but he's from over there in Scotland, England area, and what they would do is when they had family disputes, they would have these fights in the fields, and they would bet on them, and they would solve their disputes and bet on them at the same time. So it was a win-win for everybody. And I got really interested in the bare knuckle thing. I started researching a lot of it, and all the way back August 25th, 2011, we did our first, or August 5th, 2011, we did our first bare knuckle fight. It was just one fight with an MMA undercard on it, and we sold it out completely, and we're on the way to about 1 million people logging in to buy it, and the paywall crashed. So we didn't make any money on that event, but we got the enthusiasm that, man, this can really be something. So since then, I've been pushing this, and June 2nd, 2018, we were able to get it fully legal, sanctioned, and regulated by Wyoming, and now we're on our 7th event.
Yeah, absolutely. And certain people thinking maybe this is an overnight success kind of scenario. It seems like one of those decade in the making overnight kind of successes as well. How difficult was it to try to get these different commissions interested in the idea of bare knuckle fighting? Because I imagine there was a lot of no's. I understand over 20 states initially said no to bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, what I was selling them is I was selling them something that I couldn't really show them. So I was it was almost an inanimate object because I couldn't really show them what I wanted them to see, what I saw in my head, and through the research I did. So it made it very difficult for me to pass that on to people without actually being able to show them stuff. So obviously a lot of the states turned it down. Now that I have the fights on video, and I have all the stats and the medical history and the injury reports, now it makes my job so much easier because I actually have something to show them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would be surprised by some of those metrics because I think some people presume that bare knuckle boxing would have just a litany of injuries, but it seems like there's a lot less injuries. There was the one card that I think there was a thumb injury, hand injury, and a cut, and that was pretty much the extent of it.
Yeah, we're total, I think, about 140 fights right now to date, and we have 6 broken hands. Actually, 5 broken hands, 1 broken thumb. No real facial fractures, definitely cuts. You do get cut in this sport, but you don't get cut really big, long, deep cuts. You get a smaller, what I call a knuckle cut. So, it's too early in the game to see if the fighters are really going to get injured, but none of them have had any concussive damage. And we sent fighters to the hospital, especially Artem and Jason Knight after that fight, and they both cleared, no problem at all. It's a lot more superficial damage that happens here, and the fans love that, and the fact that these guys aren't really taking serious damage, is a really great thing for us.
Yeah, and it seems like a weird thing to navigate on a regulatory level, even when you guys are able to put on events. I was reading the stuff ahead of BKFC 6, and it was a bare knuckle event at the end of the day, but it seemed like there was some mandate to have some semblance of gloves. It was more so tucked to the back part of the wrist kind of thing. Is it sort of hard to navigate the landscape even as events are kind of allowed to go on? Because it seems like there's still some arbitrary kind of rules or maybe things that need more clarity on sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's just different states have different flavors. We're not run by the ABC or any national regulatory body at this time. So, every state is going to have their own little thing in it. But at the end of the day, it's all completely bare knuckle, or we wouldn't do it. If it was a glove, where the knuckles were cut out or something like that. We just wouldn't do it. So it's all completely bare knuckle. All the knuckles and all the fingers are completely bare. So it's complete bare knuckle, and that's the way we like it. And like I said, we wouldn't alter that for anybody because it wouldn't truly be what we're promoting this as.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was ultimately, bare knuckle at the end of the day and everything like that for sure. So I was just kind of curious about just like the future of everything too, because like I was noticing, because I'm from Ontario, Canada, and it seems like some of the combat sports laws are shifting a little bit, and it could maybe facilitate certain bare knuckle events in the future. Does that hold any interest for BKFC? Are you guys looking to create like a general base for where you guys typically hold shows, or would you be interested in doing like a Toronto area kind of card for a future BKFC event?
I want to come to Toronto bad. I mean, I think we have a hell of a market up there. We'd love to come up there. So we are actually talking right now, and everything takes time, right? The processes take time, and it takes time for people to get to know what we're doing. So it's going to take a little bit more time for Canada, but we're definitely pushing that one. We're pushing some of the bigger states as well in the United States, and we're actually going to be going overseas into the Middle East. They want some shows over there. So we're going to be doing some things in 2020 that a lot of people really aren't expecting. So we're definitely opening this up. And no, we don't want to be stuck in any one spot, although a lot of the states that we've already done the events in have been very, very good to us and gave us the opportunity. But in order for this to grow, we need to grow. And when I say we need to grow as geographically and with all the different fighters that we're signing as well.
Yeah, and that excites me, like being from the area. That would be definitely cool to come check out. But it seems like you guys are getting a lot of big signees going as of late. And I was kind of curious because it seems like pretty much every other day there's like some sort of report of Aleksander Emelianenko wanting to sign with Bare Knuckle FC, but maybe there's certain things that need to get ironed out with the visa. Can you provide some insight on the present situation with Aleksander Emelianenko?
Yeah, well, he has his own legal issues, so he has to get them cleared before we even entertain anything. If he gets clearance to come over here, then we'll really sit down and talk and see if that makes sense, with his criminal history and see if it's something that we want to get attached to. And then even after all that, we would, if we did end up signing a contract with him, we would have to fly him all the way over here to the United States to get his medicals done here because we wouldn't trust it anywhere else. So, the safety of the fighters is very paramount for us, so we wouldn't jeopardize that for any name. And with that being said, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. And probably in the next couple of weeks, we're going to know a lot more on that.
Just like need to iron out some details so you can actually be able to have like a clear sort of answer for his potential future, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I have to, like I said, first of all, he's got to get cleared. He's got to make sure that legally he's even cleared to leave Russia. So that's number one. First and foremost, if he is cleared to leave, then he has to come all the way over here to the United States and get his medical test done to make sure that his blood's good and that he doesn't have hepatitis. That people are saying that he does, that he tells me he does not. It was a false positive, whatever he's telling me. But, we have to make sure of that because we're not going to do anything to jeopardize any fighter's health. So that would be the second step. And then the third step would be, getting all the financial details are out of the way and just getting everything signed and seeing who would want to step up and fight Aleksander.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, could be a potential, future opponent in the winner of this, Adams versus Sherman fight here for the heavyweight championship. Can you talk about this fight a little bit? Because I think this is an intriguing stylistic matchup between two big bruisers.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited about that fight. I think that fight has to be fireworks because these are two guys that Arnold Adams is a little bit slick. He's a pretty good boxer, but he understands that now in order to really get his name out there, he needs to stand in there and fight a little bit more. And he told me to expect a knockout on this fight. And Chase Sherman is always right there in front of his opponent. So I think this one has fireworks all over it. I anticipate a very, very good matchup here. And who knows who's going to come home with that belt? But we're going to find out on Saturday night.
And then Jim Alers headlining the event as well, going to be taking on Leonard Garcia, and Jim stepping up for an injured Jason Knight there. But I think this fight is pretty intriguing. And also I've seen some level of dialogue from certain outlets that say this is a potential title eliminator at 155 pounds. And I was actually talking to Leonard Garcia the other day, and he said he would love to, win this fight, and then maybe him and Artem Lobov fight for that 155-pound championship. Does the winner of this fight taking on Artem Lobov for that championship hold any interest for BKFC?
I mean, it absolutely could. I mean, the thing about Leonard Garcia that I love about him is he comes to fight. I mean, he fought for us his first fight. He got dropped right away, got up and stopped a very tough and heavier Julian Lane. Naturally heavier. You know, they did weigh in at the same weight, but now Leonard's dropping down in weight, and Julian's going to stay at that weight. So it absolutely could be. I mean, it's all about what the fans want. If something really intriguing pops up for Artem, then that's the direction we're going to go. We're entertaining a possible rematch with Jason Knight too. So there's a couple things that we're thinking about right now. And after this fight, I think after Saturday we should have a lot more clarity on a lot more things that we're doing with talking with Jason and with watching this fight and see how it pans out. So there's a lot of opportunities that could happen very quickly, and also a lot of different names that we're talking to right now that we're going to announce their signings in the next week or so.
Nothing you can talk about now, though, just still some details to iron out?
Not really. I mean, I can't really drop the names while I'm negotiating with them, but we're going to drop one name today. Later on today, we'll have one guy that we're going to announce his signing. We just signed about 22 up-and-coming guys and some former UFC fighters, so we're going to drop all those names by the end of the week as well. And then we have some bigger names that we're going to be signing. We're negotiating with some really giant, huge names right now, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. You know, we're negotiating with a couple people that a lot of people are negotiating with right now, so we'll see if that happens for us. If it happens for BKFC, it's going to be phenomenal at this stage in our game.
Yeah, you guys have a good mix between like that big name talent in both mixed martial arts and boxing, but also you guys do those BKFC tryouts and have the open calls. So I think you're getting talent on both ends of the spectrum and just, you know, really filling out the roster.
No, sure. I mean, that's how we have to do it. We have to get some of these bigger names in here just to get name recognition and attraction to our company and the sport itself. And then while they're watching it, that's when we develop the new talent on that same show. But we have some of the new talent that's, you know, putting on really tremendous fights on the undercard, but they're being drawn to by these bigger names. So I think it's a perfect mix for us right now. And, you know, the game plan is in 5 years from now, 3 years from now, really, that all of our fighters are going to be the stars and we don't need to bring in a lot of these guys. And I think that's what's going to happen, because I think people really, really do genuinely like what we're doing with bare-knuckle fighting championship now. I mean, most of the fights are super exciting, and you just don't know what to expect. And I think if you're a combat sports fan, you have to like bare-knuckle fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. And this featherweight tournament intrigues me too. You got a couple semifinal bouts on the card here. When is the final bout projected to go? Are you looking to sort of do that at BKFC 8? And an extension of that, what are your thoughts on the respective semifinal bouts there?
Yeah, we're just we're only doing one semifinal bout on this one because we had an injury. So the second semifinal one will be September 21st on our next show. And then the finals will probably be at the end of November. That'll be our big show that we're going to drop some of these big names on. I think this matchup with Helen Peralta and Christine Fiera is like, it's an unbelievable matchup. I think it's going to be a complete war. I mean, we've seen what Christine can do. She fights unbelievable. She's a tremendous fighter. She has tremendous skill and tremendous punching power. So, you know, if Helen can withstand that, you know, that would be amazing to see. But we're going to see that on Saturday. But I mean, Helen doesn't take a backward step either. So I think this fight really, truly has fireworks written all over it. And, you know, again, on Saturday night we're going to see who's going to win that one as well. But I honestly, if I was going to bet and I was out of this, I wouldn't know who to bet on that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a barn burner in the making for sure. But, you know, coming off such a big card with BKFC 6, like all the metrics indicating that it's the biggest show you guys have done up until this point, why did it feel like the appropriate time now to, you know, put out a free card to the fans and kind of, you know, give a little gift to the BKB fans out there?
You know what it is? It's that we need to gain more fans. We just need to get more fans at this point. So why not take a little bit of that money and dump it into a free show? It's a very solid show from top to bottom. Great fights. All 9 fights are really phenomenally matched, and I think we're going to have tremendous action on Saturday night. And why not give back to the fans? Why not get more fans with this? And why not to the fans who have been buying these pay-per-views for the past 6 events, give them a chance to watch it for free? I mean, really, that's all we keep saying is why not? Why not give back to the fans, and why not, you know, gain more fans here? And I think the fans are really going to truly appreciate what we're doing here Saturday night.
Yeah, I think you need a mix of those cards too. Like obviously this event is great and it's like a free event and like a good gift to everybody. And then also you have those certain events like a Emelianenko versus Lobov where it's like the bad blood going into it and then you get it through Fight TV or whatever. So it's good to have that mixture for sure.
No, absolutely it is. And we're really looking forward to what this year is going to play out the rest of this year, and then 2020 we have some really good stuff lined up for 2020, and I think we're on a really good path here, and I think we're growing at a very good pace, and I think we're just going to continue growing, and we're really happy of where we are, just a little bit over a year away from our first show that we did, and where we are now. And most people in combat sports have heard of BKFC, and that's phenomenal only a year into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And already from what I've been able to tell, you guys have done a pretty good job at creating stars and kind of just renewing the, I guess, intrigue around certain people. An example of that, I think, would be Bec Rawlings. I think she was quickly turned to the queen of bare knuckle and sort of had that more, I guess, visible public profile after you guys had promoted a few of her fights there. Is there anybody on the BKFC roster right now that you see really just making a big run into stardom in the near future?
I think Johnny Bedford has a chance of making a run into stardom for sure. I think that he's got the attitude and he's got the fighting ability. He's got a lot of guys we just signed right now. I mean, there's tremendous talent here. I think Leonard Garcia, although he's been around the game for a long time, I think he's got a chance of making a nice little 1 or 2 year run at this and becoming a star with this. Some of the heavyweights we have on board, there's a lot of tremendous talent that we have, and I think a lot of guys could really be stars in this. Of the 150 fighters that we have signed now, I would say a good dozen of those could have the potential of really being a star in combat sports.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely brings it. His fighting style is super entertaining, and obviously he has the persona, as you said. But seems like you guys have a lot on the go. I'd seen an interview a little while ago where there was some dialogue about getting a reality show going on or something like that, some BKB sort of thing. What other sort of goals do you guys have mapped out for the next year or so?
I mean, really, we're talking to a few networks right here, and that's our biggest thing, to get a TV deal, because that's it's hard to sustain just on pay-per-view unless you have huge marquee names. So we definitely want a TV deal, and we're talking to a couple different networks right now. So I think that's going to happen towards the beginning to the middle of 2020. We're going to ink something there, and that's going to give us the platform we need to really, really grow this talent and grow our roster, and that's what we're looking for in 2020.
Yeah, and bringing back Broughton's rules in a big way, but it really seems like MMA fighters who cross over to BKB have a tremendous amount of success. Just from I guess a fan perspective, curiosity sort of level, are there any MMA fighters right now that you'd like to see come over to bare knuckle fighting that you think could really do a good job?
I mean, the one that's making all the headlines right now, we'd obviously love to have her. We'd love to have Cris Cyborg here. I think she's made for bare knuckle, but that's going to be a tall task for us to achieve. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But she would be great to add to this roster. And I don't really want to call out other organizations' fighters right now, but there's a lot of guys out there that I think would like this even better than what they're doing, only because it doesn't take as much toll on the body, and it's very, very exciting. So we definitely have our eyes open on a lot of talent right now.
Yeah, and talking about former UFC fighters getting in the fold, I'm noticing Melvin Guillard is getting in there with Isaac Vallie Flagg, and from what I'm seeing, it's Guillard's bare knuckle debut. What are your thoughts on how he'll do in bare knuckle fighting? Because I think he fits the bill of what you're talking about, a guy who's going over from MMA to bare knuckle fighting and might even do better with it potentially.
No, I'm expecting big things from Melvin. Melvin actually did fight in England a few bare knuckle fights, and fought one of their world champions, and I think he beat him. And so I'm expecting really, really huge things from Melvin. I had a long talk with him. He seems to be living right on the right path right now. So hopefully everything pans out with that. And we'll see. Isaac Vallie Flagg, on the other hand, is tough as they come. And aside from just being as tough as they come, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. So it's going to be a war, another war that we have on Saturday night, and we'll see who's going to win that one too.
Yeah, for sure, man. A few other fights on the undercard looking pretty intriguing as well. What's one other bout out of this pack of fights that people really need to be, keeping their eye on and especially focused on?
Well, there's a local bout, two local Biloxi guys, Joshua Bordeaux versus Adam Pellerano, and I'm told by the locals down there that helped make this match that one definitely has fighting night all over it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the heavyweight championship. I'm looking forward to really every match on this card, and I'm not saying that I'm saying it like every fight on this card could be fight of the night. That's how we always match BKFC. And obviously, not every fight is going to live up to the expectations, but we match them that way that they should be exciting fights. And I think that's the really great thing about this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great looking card, and it seems like you have big plans for not only the remainder of the year, but just even going ahead beyond that. But you've been really great with your time, David. I'm curious if there's anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here.
No, I mean, just make sure you watch this. This is live, and we're giving back to the fans. Like I said, this is a gift to the fans, and hopefully they appreciate it. You can watch this on Fight TV or on the BKFC YouTube page. Just go to either one of them and enjoy a free night of great fights here on Saturday night. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, like I said, live on Fight TV or on the BKFC YouTube page. So make sure you check that out, and just check out the different MMA news sites in the next couple of days for some of the signings we're going to have.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep my eye on that. I think BKFC has done a real good job at signing some notable MMA fighters who've brought some exciting fights. But yeah, like you said, Saturday, August 10th, Biloxi, Mississippi, bare-knuckle FC 7 goes, Alers versus Garcia, and really just a myriad of great BKB fights. But I appreciate all the time you provided there, David, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day too, man.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.